In this video, we are going to be considering the addition and subtraction of complex numbers. In a previous video, we showed that a complex number z, which is x plus iy, contains the real part and the imaginary part. X is the real part, and this part here is the imaginary part. Now, to add or subtract complex numbers, we are going to have to focus on the real and the imaginary parts. For example, if z1 and z2 are complex numbers, with z1 being x1 plus I y1, and z2 is x2 plus I y2, we would see that the sum of z1 and z2, which is z1 plus z2, is going to be equal to z1 is x1 plus I y1, so plus z2 is x2 plus I y2. Thus, the sum is going to be the sum of the real parts, that's x1 plus x2, then plus the sum of the imaginary parts. So we've got I is common because these are the imaginary parts, y1 plus y2. This is how two complex numbers are added. Now, what if we were solving z1 minus z2? So this is also going to require us to flesh out the complex numbers. z1 is x1 plus I y1, then minus z2 is x2 plus I y2. If I take off the brackets, then I'm going to get x1 plus I y1, then removing the bracket here, minus x2 minus I y2. Collecting like terms, so x1 is the real part, and of course x2 is the real part of the other one. So this is going to be x1 minus x2 plus, now combining the imaginary parts, I would have iy1 minus iy2. Thus, we would see that z1 minus z2 is equal to the difference in the real parts, x1 minus x2, plus I is common here, the difference in the imaginary parts. So this is how to subtract a complex number from another one. Let's take a quick example. For example, if z1 is equal to 3 plus j2 and z2 equals 1 minus j5, I'm sure you are wondering, where is this j coming from? Yes, some authors use I to represent the imaginary parts, while others use j to represent it. So either I or j, the important thing is they represent the imaginary parts of a complex number. So all of the examples I will be taking here, I will be replacing I with j. Okay, so let's figure out what z1 plus z2 is. So as usual, we are going to add the real parts, that's going to be 3 plus 1, that's the real parts, then plus j, then add the imaginary parts, that's 2 minus 5. Thus, z1 plus z2 is 4, then 2 minus 5 is a negative 3, so this is negative 3j. We can also work out z2 plus z1. So for z2 plus z1, z2 is going to come first. That's 1 minus j5 plus z1. So adding the real parts, 1 plus 3. Then adding the imaginary parts, I can have my j here. That's negative 5 plus 2. So this gives 4. Negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3 minus 3j. So we would see here that z1 plus z2 gives the same answer as z2 plus z1. Of course, we all know that addition is commutative. Okay, how about this? z1 minus z2. So here, Z1 is 3 plus J2 minus Z2 is 1 minus J5. So I can just remove the bracket here. This is 3 plus J2. Then this is going to be negative 1 minus times minus J5 is going to be positive J5. Collecting like terms, merging the real parts. So this is 3 minus 1 and combining the imaginary parts, that's J2 plus J5. So we see that Z1 minus Z2 is 3 minus 1, that's 2, then plus J2 plus J5, that's J7. Let's take another example. If Z1 equals 1 minus 3J and Z2 equals 3J, so let's figure out what Z1 plus Z2 is going to be. So Z1 plus Z2, we know that Z1 is 1 minus 3J, then the positive sign, Z2 is just 3J. And of course, we know that since Z2 is 3J, this can be written as 0 plus 3J because there is no real part here. So it's the same as saying that the real part is 0. So in place of 3J, I can just write 0 plus 3J. So I'm going to combine the real parts as well as the imaginary parts. The real parts are 1 and 0, so I've got 1 plus 0 for the real parts. Then the imaginary parts, the first one is a negative 3. I can just have a j outside. The second one is a positive 3. Therefore, z1 plus z2 is 1. Negative 3 plus 3 is 0, plus 0j, which is of course the same as 1. So we can see here that this sum produces just a real part. It doesn't have an imaginary part, which is of course the same as just having a plus 0j. Okay, how about z1 minus z2? So we're going to write z1, 1 minus 3j, then the negative here, z2, 0 plus 3j. So I'm going to take off the parentheses. So this is 1 minus 3j here. So this is minus 0, minus times plus 3j, that's negative 3j. So we would see that here, 1 and 0 are the real parts. So I'm going to bring them together, 1 minus 0. Minus 3j are the imaginary parts. I'm also going to bring them together. So 1 minus 0 is 1. Minus 3j is minus 9j. Thus, z1 minus z2 is 1 minus 9j. You can work out these problems on your own. If you find this video useful, kindly like, share, drop a comment, and do not forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.